Welcome back to the FITTS SPSS Masterclass. In the previous lesson, we learned how to describe the center of our data using the mean, median, and mode. Today, we'll answer a different question. How spread out are the values? Understanding variability helps us see beyond the average and better understand our data. By the end of this lesson, you will understand the range, variance, and standard deviation, knowing when each should be used and confidently interpret these measures in SPSS. We will begin by understanding why variability matters, introduce three measures, and then apply them in SPSS using a real research dataset before interpreting the results. And here's where we are in the course. We've built a strong foundation in descriptive statistics, and today's lesson moves us one step closer to understanding data distributions and more advanced statistical analysis. Imagine two classes with exactly the same average GPA. One class has students performing at similar levels, while the other has scores spread much more widely. Although the averages are identical, the two classes tell very different stories. That's why we need measures of variability. The average, we know, tells us where the center of the data is. Measures of variability tells us how consistent or spread out the data are. Together, they give us a much clearer understanding of our results. And we're going to focus on three measures of variability. The range gives us the overall spread, variance measures how observations vary from the mean, and standard deviation provides the most practical measure of spread for interpreting research findings. A good researcher never relies on a single statistic. Always consider both the center of the data and its variability before drawing conclusions. And before using SPSS, always begin with your research question. Decide which variable you want to analyze and choose the most appropriate statistical measure. The software performs the calculations, but interpreting the result is your responsibility. We've covered the key concepts. Let's now open SPSS and calculate the range, variance, and standard deviation using our research dataset.
We are now inside SPSS with the same student academic performance dataset we've been using throughout this course. And in this practical session, we will calculate and interpret the range, variance, and standard deviation for a GPU variable. And by the end of this demonstration, you will not only know how to calculate these statistics, but also understand what they tell you about your data. Most statistical analysis in SPSS begin from the Analyze menu. So that's where we're going to start. And this menu contains procedures that summarize numerical data before moving on to more advanced, statistical analysis. So we're going to select the descriptives. And this procedure is one of the most commonly used tools for summarizing numerical variables in research. And if you want to do that, since our focus is on the GPA, I'll select the GPA, click on the arrow to move it, or you can just hold it, drag and drop. So that's your preference. So I'm going to select the options. Then we check what we need. So by default, we have mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. So we need to add the variance and the range. Now come all the way down and hit on continue. So once that has been satisfied and we are okay with what we've done, I'll just hit on OK. And now you'll notice that SPSS has now performed all the calculations automatically. So let's interpret the output that we're seeing on our screen. So when you look at the N, and I've always been saying this, it tells us the number of valid observations included in the analysis. And we know that our data set contains just 10 students. So every GPA has been included in these calculations. So you just need to get that straight. And our range is what? 1.10. Okay. So the range is simply the difference between the highest and the lowest value. So if you want to calculate it, the highest and the lowest, so the difference between The maximum and minimum is what's giving us the range. And in our case, our GPAs are spread across what? 1.10 GPU plane. So that's from 2.80 to what? 3.90. And I believe that is clear and easy for you to understand. So the range essentially gives us a quick overview of the spread, but it doesn't tell us how the scores are distributed between these two values. Now, if we look at the minimum, at least you understand what minimum means. So this is the lowest GPA achieved by the student by, sorry, I beg your pardon, any student in our data set. So that's what 2.80. And the maximum is the highest GPA achieved. So we move on to the mean. And our mean here is what? 3.3880. So let's say 3.38 or 3.39 approximately. So if we stopped here, we would only know the average. And we still don't know whether most students perform similarly, whether some students perform much better or worse than others. That's why we've also included, these measures of what? Variabilities. So we got our variance, which is what? 0.144. And this measures how much the GPAs differ from the average GPA. Because variance is expressed in squared units, researchers rarely interpret it directly. Instead, it serves as the mathematical foundation for many statistical techniques. Now, let's look at our standard deviation, which is 0.37897, approximately 0.38. So this is telling us the typical distance of the GPAs from the average GPA. And one question students often ask is 0.38 good or bad? So the answer is that standard deviation does not have a universal scale. Its meaning depends on the variable you're measuring. And since GPA is measured on a 0 to 4 scale, a standard deviation of 0.38 tells us that the GPAs are fairly close to the average. So in other words, student performance is reasonably consistent with some variations, but not an extreme amount. So a useful way to think about standard deviation is this. The smaller the standard deviation, the more consistent the scores. And the larger the standard deviation, the more spread out the scores are around the average. So notice that we are comparing the overall value, not just the digits after the decimal point. So that a standard deviation of, let's say, 0.12 indicates less variations than 0.38, while a value of 0.9 would indicate a much greater variation. So I want to switch to my OneNote so that we can look at something quickly here. So we've got two classes. So our class, which is 3.39, a standard deviation of 0.38. Then we've got another class B, the same mean 3.39 and a standard deviation of what? 0.9. And both classes have exactly the same, average GPA, which is 3.39. And if we only looked at the mean, we might conclude that the two classes performed equally. But the standard deviation tells a different story. Our class has a standard deviation of 0.38, which means most students perform fairly close to the average. And the second class has a standard deviation of 0.9. So if you compare 0.3, 0.9, meaning the GPAs are much more spread out. So some students perform exceptionally well, while others perform much less well. And this is why researchers almost always report the mean together with a standard deviation. So these are key takeaways you need to think about. So think of standard deviation as a measure of consistency. So the smaller the standard deviation, the more consistent the scores. And the larger the standard deviation, the more varied the scores. So it's as simple as ABC, okay? So this is how you might report these findings in your dissertation. So I'm going to type that out for you to see. So we can say that the participant obtained a mean GPA of, let's say, 3.39 okay, with a standard deviation. So ST, okay, of what? 0.3. And this indicating, not all caps, indicating relatively little variation in performance among the students. So it's as simple as A, B, C. So you need to understand the concept and apply it to your dissertation. So yes, they obtained a GPA of 3.39 and 0.38, yeah, indicate a relatively little variation in academic performance among the students, and that makes sense. So you are backing your statement with evidence from your analysis. So whenever you report descriptive statistics, don't stop at presenting the values. Always explain what they reveal about your participants and how they help answer your research question. Okay. And before we move on to another analysis, I wanted to ask yourself one important question. If I only reported the mean, what important information would my readers miss? So in our data set, the mean tells us that the average GPA is 3.39, and the standard deviation in this case, or in this particular situation, tells us that most students perform fairly close to that average. So together, these statistics provide a much clearer understanding of student performance than either one would provide on its own. So remember that SPSS calculates the statistics, but you interpret what they mean, and that's what transforms data into meaningful research. So, well done, and we've now calculated and interpreted the range, variance, and standard deviation using our actual data set. Let's return to the presentation and summarize the key lessons from today's lesson.
Understanding variability is valuable far beyond research, and these measures are used in education, healthcare, businesses, and data analytics to identify patterns, measure consistency, and support better decision making. The same thinking also applies when analyzing data in tools like Microsoft Excel and Power BI. Today, you've learned why variability matters, explored the range, variance, and standard deviation, and seen how these measures help us understand the spread of our data. Remember, the average tells us the center, but variability tells us how the data are distributed. And before moving to the next lesson, use the same dataset to calculate a range, variance, and standard deviation for another numerical variable. Then write a short interpretation explaining what your results tell you. In the next lesson, we will explore the shape of our data using histogram, skewness, and kurtosis. Understanding data distribution is an important step before choosing many statistical tests. I want to thank you for watching. If you found this lesson helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone learning SPSS. I'll see you in the next episode. Don't just learn SPSS, learn to think like a researcher.